Hey music lovers, welcome back to Legend Story, where we dig into the stories behind the songs and the legends who make them. Today, we've got a juicy one for you. At 83, the Dean of American Rock Critics, Robert Christgau, is finally spilling the tea on one of the greatest voices in music history, Linda Ronstadt. Buckle up, because this is a tale of talent, tension, and some serious musical respect, with a dash of humor to keep it fun. Let's dive in. For those who don't know, Robert Christgau is like the Yoda of music criticism. Since the 1960s, he's been reviewing albums for The Village Voice, Rolling Stone, and his own newsletter, And It Don't Stop. The guy's got opinions sharper than a guitar pick. And Linda Ronstadt? She's the queen of country rock, with a voice that could melt butter or break glass, depending on the song. But what's the deal with these two? Let's break it down. First, let's talk Linda. Born in 1946 in Tucson, Arizona, Linda Ronstadt wasn't just a singer. She was a force. She could sing country, rock, pop, mariachi, and even opera, all with a voice that made you feel every word. Hits like Blue Bayou, When Will I Be Loved, and You're No Good made her a superstar in the 70s and 80s. Fun fact, she sold over 100 million records and won 11 Grammys. Yeah, she's kind of a big deal. Now, Robert Christgau, picture a guy who listens to thousands of albums and writes reviews that are half poetry, half roast. He's famous for his Consumer Guide column, where he grades albums like a sassy professor. A plus for genius, C- for May. And don't even get him started on the Fs. He's been covering music from the Beatles to Beyoncé, but Linda Ronstadt? Oh, they've got history. So what's the scoop? At 83, Christgau's been reflecting on his career, and in recent interviews, like one from his Substack newsletter, And It Don't Stop, he's opened up about Linda Ronstadt's work. Spoiler alert, he's got mad respect for her. But it's not all roses. Let's unpack this. Back in the 70s, Christgau reviewed Linda's albums like Heart Like a Wheel and Simple Dreams. He loved her voice, called it powerful and versatile, but he wasn't always sold on her song choices. In his reviews, he'd say stuff like, Linda's voice is a cannon, but sometimes the songs are just BB guns. Ouch. He gave her albums solid grades like B+ or A-, but he wasn't handing out gold stars. Why? Because Christgau's picky. He wanted her to take more risks, maybe pick edgier material. Fast forward to the 80s, Linda drops What's New, an album of jazz standards with Nelson Riddle's orchestra. It's a total curveball. Rockstar goes Rat Pack. Christgau wasn't thrilled. In a review, he basically said, Linda's voice is great, but these songs feel like a costume party. He even compared her to Lady Gaga years later, saying Gaga rocked standards with more pizzazz. Linda's response? She shrugged it off like a pro. Gotta love her chill vibe. But here's the thing, Christgau's critiques come from a place of deep admiration. In a 2021 piece, he admitted Linda's versatility blew him away. She could sing anything, from Eagles covers to Mexican folk songs, and make it her own. He called her a trailblazer for women in music, especially in a male-dominated industry. And get this, when Linda retired in 2011 due to health issues, she was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy. Christgau wrote a heartfelt tribute, saying her voice was one for the ages. That's high praise from a guy who's heard it all. Now, don't go thinking there was any romantic tea here. Linda dated big names like George Lucas and Jerry Brown. But Christgau? Nah, he was just a fan with a pen. Their relationship was strictly professional, critic meets artist, but you can tell he's got a soft spot for her legacy. So why are we talking about this now? Because at 83, Christgau's still out here dropping wisdom, and Linda's influence is everywhere. Her music's been featured in shows like The Last of Us. Remember that long time episode that made everyone cry? Plus, artists like Kacey Musgraves and Phoebe cite her as an inspiration. Christgau's reflections remind us how Linda broke barriers, blending genres and paving the way for today's stars. And let's be real, Christgau's snarky reviews are a vibe. He's like your grumpy uncle who loves music but won't admit it. His takes on Linda show how critics and artists push each other to be better. It's like a musical sparring match, and we're all winners for it. All right, music fans, that's the story of Robert Christgau and Linda Ronstadt, a critic and a legend connected by respect and a few spicy reviews. What's your favorite Linda Ronstadt song? And do you love or hate Christgau's sassy critiques? Drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more music stories.